A circle full of dogs. We put in a work. Oh, baby, let's go out there with a bunch of crazy dogs.
That caught me off guard because there's usually an ending there with Zach. What happened to my ending? What happened to my ending?
Which one is my camera?
Positive.
How about them Giants? How about them Giants? How about them Giants?
Damn producer. Woo! Welcome to another episode of Giants Rush. Yep, where we talk Giants football 50 weeks of the year. Yep, and we're here. Let's talk about Micah McFadden's in house. I got Zach, the producer, is back, so we can actually run this thing like a well-oiled machine that we are. And of course, I got Joker Rush here. Sean's with me. Rest of the guys are off chasing their kids in baseball and doing all sorts of other things. So, what we know though, Zach, is it's always good to be the king, right, Zach?
It's good to be the king.
Of course it is. It's always good to be the king, baby. And let's bring in Sean. Let's get him in here.
Miss the fireworks.
There won't be any fireworks.
And here we go.
Dude, here we go.
Here we go is right. And there's going to be fireworks. We got Micah in the house, so there's absolutely going to be fireworks tonight.
Any guy that gets to smack somebody for a living and get paid for it, there's definitely fireworks. And by the way, he's super good to us. He comes out and hangs out with us at least once a year. So, we're pretty stoked to have him back. I like to give him crap about his Indiana teams, but I can't really say anything because all the Michigan State teams suck this year, except for basketball. So we had a little bit of reprieve there. And again, but I think he was rooting for them for about 5 minutes, and that was it. Zach, let's hit it.
Let's go. Come on. Micah McFadden.
Let's go.
Micah McFadden, what's up?
What up? Happy to be here, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I was hoping I got brand new gear in, right? With the Lady Liberty's head on the front, right? And then she's got one streak of eye black under her eye. And I ordered it for you, and I was trying to get it out to you because I know you're always kind enough to wear the gear. But you will have it. I just need your address. It didn't come in time. It's supposed to be here tomorrow.
No worries. No worries. Good deal though. I like that idea though. Good design idea there.
Yeah, it's the Statue of Liberty head, right? And it kind of, I basically stole the idea from the Rangers.
Nice.
But I put eye black on her underneath. So I got one for you. Just got to send it down to Tampa down there.
Good deal.
All right, dude. We got lots to talk about. We do this yearly with you. You're always kind enough to hang with us. Thank you. And of course, I'm like your biggest defender when people start giving me crap. So here's what I got to find out. And I'm going to a little test you here. Ready? Back-to-back seasons by you, 100 tackles or more for you. Back-to-back year. Did you know the last time that was done? Do you actually know the last time that was done by a New York Giants linebacker?
I want to say somebody had mentioned it to me maybe after the season, or I don't remember the exact year though.
That's
No,
okay.
I'm not
That's
sure.
okay. Because guess what? 18 years ago, 2006, 2007, Antonio Pierce, he was a captain, one of the best inside linebackers the Giants ever had, Super Bowl winner. So the last time anyone did what you did was 18 years ago. So, you should be very proud of that, my friend. Like, seriously, it's nothing to sneeze at because I know it ain't hard it's not easy to do.
Yeah. No, I barely crossed the threshold each of the past 2 years of getting 100 tackles, but I got there. I made sure I got it. I think one of the games or one of the seasons, it was 23. It was the last game of the season. I got it. It was like I had to get like 8 or 10 tackles or something. And I remember literally going to the sideline, like checking the iPad, like, okay, two more, like, make sure it's a run play or something. Like I got to be in with me or something.
Yeah.
We got there. We got there.
Nice.
It's all good, dude. I mean, you're working hard, man. Like again, like I tell people all the time, I'm like, you're the one that's showing up every single day, week in and week out. It doesn't go unnoticed. So how's it feeling in general? Now you're one of the leaders on the defense. You've been, you're 3-year starter. What's it feel like? Where are you mentally? How are you feeling in general about where you're at?
Yeah, I feel good. I think the progression the past 2 years, but honestly, this, since I started, it's been good. It's been encouraging just to see the experience and the opportunity, match my performance. And every time I get a new play, or every time I see a new play, I'm starting to recognize it more. And, it's just helping my game grow. I feel more comfortable each and every time I'm out there, and each year just feels like 10 years in any other job. I'd say that just because NFL is not a long career, and but each game you learn a lot and you grow a lot. So it's been a blessing just to be out there, and I'm really excited for this next year as well.
Well, let's parlay that. I know you and Bobby are boys, right? And you guys now been playing next to each other with a lot of success. Bobby did get hurt. What's, look, you're coming into year 2, and this is what I usually get. I got a ton of questions this week to ask you a bunch of things. One of them, though, is what we're all wondering. How does it feel year to year going from Wink's defense to Bowens defense? What's the major difference? I'm sure, and you don't have to say anything. We're not looking to put you in that spot, but there's got to be a difference between those two systems. Like, how does it feel going into year 2 with the system? Because I'm sure it's better now you got a year under your belt.
Yeah, without a doubt. Whenever you go, the first year in any scheme is, I don't want to say difficult, because you have the off season, you have training camp to get used to it, understand, to get the basics down. But there's still a little bit of training wheels on it, and everybody's kind of figuring it out as they go. Usually the first 4 or 5 games of the season in a new scheme is kind of, seeing how the other teams are playing against it, and what you're getting from an offense and what's hurting us. But yeah, year 2, usually that's the settling point. That's when everybody feels really comfortable. There's already an understanding going into the off season, with what we've done in the past year. There's a lot of film to go off of, a lot of correction to make from the year before, maybe some things, the coaches want to adjust heading into year 2. So it's always helpful to have that first year under the belt. But yeah, Wink, I think it's pretty obvious. He was really aggressive. He had that, there was the scheme was, I came in as a rookie, so it was difficult for me to learn. I think, people who had seen quite a number of defenses in the NFL were able to get a hold of it pretty quick. But, I honestly, I like both of them. But yeah, Wink was really aggressive. It really didn't matter the time or place, but, he was trying to put pressure on the quarterback. I'd say Bowen, he still has that in the bag, and there's going to be specific times where he wants to pressure and bring the house or whatnot, but it's a little bit more flow to it and a little bit more coverage, and especially for linebackers. But I really enjoy both schemes, and I enjoy playing in both of them.
I know you like Wink used to hit you in that A gap a lot. You probably miss a little bit of that, right? Or is Bowen going to be able to be a little bit more expansive this year, you think? You think he's going to add a little bit more to it? Or do you think it stays exactly the way it was, expecting you to get better? Or does he throw a couple more things in there? Because I always said what I loved about your game is you were a big downhill A-gap guy, shooting through there, making plays. Bowens doesn't seem, like I said, maybe not as aggressive. Will it morph a little bit this year, you think?
Yeah, I think, there could be some nuance, added in there. But, I think at the end of the day, defense is, the scheme's the scheme. It probably won't change too much. And obviously we haven't gotten into the offseason activity yet. So I don't know exactly how much will be added or removed. And honestly, that really won't come into play until we actually start, the season and when we're, playing different teams and whatnot. But yeah, I think honestly, to your earlier point about playing in a second year within the same scheme, I think guys will have a better understanding. There will be more fluidity throughout the defense, and communication will be a little bit better just because we have that year underneath us. And I think it'll be a lot, really clear for everybody what the goal is throughout our defense and the mantra.
Yeah.
Cool.
I have a couple questions to follow up on that, Micah. Like what you were saying earlier, like for you being where you're at right now, how much do you think the game has kind of slowed down for you? That's my first question. And the second question, in Bowens' defense, it looked like early on the defense was really doing well, and then those injuries hit. So how much do you think the injuries really impacted, and kind of especially the D line with freeing up you guys to do what you needed to do? How much do you think that impacted the defense, later on, and you personally? And then again, how much is the game slowing down for you now that you're almost a veteran basically?
Yeah, no, the game. Well, to answer your first question, the game has really slowed down for sure. It's like I said, it's year to year, but honestly, it's game to game, and every team you play has a different way of attacking you. They have different players in the league. It always comes down to what players they have and how they're going to try and use them, because there's always stars over there, either in the backfield or at wideout, or especially at the quarterback position nowadays. And you don't know how they're going to feature those guys, but they're going to do it in some way, and that's how they're going to attack you. So that identifying that and finding the way you're going to fit into the defense and make the plays that are come to you. That's kind of how the game has slowed down for me. But yeah, to your second question, it seems like it's always one year that a team just gets that bug. And for us, especially on the defensive side of the ball, we had quite a few guys go down, and I know I missed 3.5 games throughout the year. But especially at the end, I think I missed 2.5 to finish the season out. And whenever you have a year like that, you don't end the season the way you started it, and there's a number of guys on one side of the ball who didn't start the year, or are filling in at spots they didn't start the year at. It's difficult to win. It's difficult to play fast. It's difficult to just understand what's going on, and the communication out there slows down for sure. So it definitely played a factor. I'm confident in all the guys, all the depth we have in our room, but it's difficult to win games, and I'm hoping for a different outcome.
Yeah. I think we all are as fans, and it's interesting because you said a couple times about communication. I think a lot of fans don't understand how communication is on the defense, and I did feel like at times there wasn't that communication like you mentioned there. So how do you guys improve upon that for the upcoming season? With that communication, is it like the guys you've added? Is it just being in that second year of the system? Like, how can you guys internally improve that communication there? Because I think that's a great point.
Yeah, no, I think I think it starts top down, but at the end of the day, it's going to be the players on the field that are talking it out and figuring it out as it goes. So to your point, I think the new veterans and the guys who have been in the league and the people we added on the defensive side of the ball, it's going to be a help from those guys as well. And seeing they've seen stuff from other defenses, and I'm sure they have their own ways of learning, and they can bring that and add it to the room, which is always valuable. But I think it's really going to start with us, whether it's player-led meetings and the way we talk to each other, the way we see things and watch them film together. So all those things play a factor. But to what we were talking about earlier, as long as 11 guys are healthy and out there playing fast and confident in what we're doing, I think we always have a chance.
It's got to be tough too when you're missing your two captains, right? You're missing Bobby and you're missing Dexter. Makes a huge difference, right? All of a sudden you're not clean in the pocket no more. Like you're trying to scrape, but you've got guys playing out of position, they're sliding you over. Like it's got to be a big difference. Like you said, when you end differently than the way you started, everybody's playing out of position, trying to like next man up. So I can imagine that it gets a little difficult week to week.
Without a doubt. It's a game of inches and milliseconds. So, whenever it's a new guy in there and it slows the game down that much, or, if we're just not on the same page, like we were talking about it, it makes it difficult to play that much faster. So, To the point we were making earlier, having this second year under our belt and keeping the same defensive scheme in there, I think it'll be a huge help.
All right, let's have some fun with this one because this one is a little bit different of a question. You got to tell me we're pretty friendly with Carl Banks.
Yeah.
You got to tell me about the photo shoot, dude. Like you and Bobby get asked to do a photo shoot for starter with LT, with Banks, with Pepper Johnson. Again, those are three of the best linebackers in like history of the New York Giants. A couple Harry Carson, yes, a couple Jesse Armstead, but I mean, one is how freaking cool was that? And two, you got to tell me something. You got to give me a nugget. Got to be like especially when LT's around, something crazy's got to be happening. You got to give me a little something, a story. Got to give me something.
Yeah. No, that was amazing. And honestly, when somebody, in the media department called me and told me, and I was like, who's going to be there and why am I invited to this? Like, how did my name get put on this list of guys right here? But no, it was a really cool experience. And obviously Carl being so involved with starter, they were having a photo shoot and whatnot. And I think that was the first time I had met LT in person along with Peppers. Oh shoot. Are you guys there?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I see you just fine. Oh no.
Oh.
That Tampa weather. You guys getting rain down there?
He might be. We're supposed to get rain today, so he might get it where he is.
Yeah. Your mic's still really low, by the way.
Yeah, well, I have it up as high as it can go. So.
Yeah, it might be something, might be your machine, or maybe you need to lean it closer. Like it's definitely lower than normal. I'm sure he'll pop back in here. He might just be getting weather.
Yeah, it might be. I'm as close as I can get now. It might be the I had to go through a different web browser because the other one was having issues. So
could be the browser, different settings.
Yeah, could be. So we'll see.
And I'm sure he'll pop back on here in a second, but that was really cool, to see them guys reenact everything. Right? Like they did, they took those old posters that they did in the 80s.
With the Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, think about that call you get, right? Think about that call where it's like, man, like we're gonna do this photo shoot with LT and Pepper Johnson, and Carl Banks. Like that's an honor, right?
Seriously. Well, that's what we were starting to say. Is like, how did I get this call? But yeah, it's pretty awesome. And recreating that poster. I mean, because that poster back in the day, you remember, like, that was what everybody wanted. Oh,
you're back. What are you getting? You getting rain down there or something?
I have no idea what just happened. Computer screen just went black, so I just made the transition to the phone.
Yeah, it's all good, dude.
Does this work? We're all good here?
Yeah, we're good.
You're good, man.
Good.
Like, so keep telling the story because, like I said, like when you clicked off for a second, I'm like, dude, what kind of call do you get where they're like, hey, Micah, you're gonna get to hang out with Lawrence Taylor, Carl Banks, and Pepper Johnson doing a starter spot. You got to be like, what?
Yeah, no, exactly. And what I was saying earlier, I was like, I cannot believe I'm involved in this. Like, I need to make 12 plus tackles in this upcoming game to like even feel worthy of taking a photo with these guys. No, it was awesome. They were all great people. One of the things I can say, I remember we have a media guy. He's one of the chillest dudes ever. His name's Diehl. Everybody in the building loves him. But he was like hanging out the side of a window of like one of the Cadillacs in the background during some of the pictures. I just remember LT and the guys were clowning him just because he looked like, for the guy he is, he was just so out of place, but it was hilarious. We were all making fun of him.
Yeah,
but it was
when
really
I saw
cool.
those come out, and Carl was saying, like, so okay, this is going to be a crazy story, but Carl told me about that photo shoot 3 years ago. Okay, so he was saying, look, I'm planning on doing this kind of like blast from the past thing that we did years ago. He's like, I just got to find the right time and then the right clothes and the right guys, right? And I was like, yeah, whatever. He's like, but if we do any B-roll, like any behind the scenes stuff, he's like, I'll send it to you guys. And I was like, really? He was like, yeah. I was like, dude, that would be freaking awesome. I'm like, like bloopers behind the scenes, LT saying crazy stuff, right? Like I was excited. And then it just like faded away. We had no idea what happened. Next thing I know, I see like you guys just, looking all fire, all lit up in your jackets. I'm like, son of a bitch. he's got McFadden and no carrot K in there. I'm not getting anything now. I'm like, because I figured I was the only guy that knew about it. And then he did it. And I was like, damn. I was like, I wanted to go to that. I want to get part of that photo shoot. And it looked like you guys were having fun.
It was a
Looked
great
serious.
time.
But I can imagine, like, especially said, like LT's, he's worth probably 1 million stories. And I'm sure, like you said, like all of a sudden, like you guys are like, damn, we better show up on Sunday now.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was a really cool thing, and they had done some photo shoot when they were playing, and it was like in front of a limo or something, and they were all fitted up. It's a really cool picture. They were showing me like what they were trying to remake and everything. But one of the coolest things he sent all the starter gear that we were wearing over to us, and
Wow,
you would
awesome.
not believe the number of requests I've had to just send people this jacket that he gave me. I'm like, I'm not giving you this jacket. Like, I'm not just handing this thing out for free. I don't even know how I got this. So no.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. So there was in the 80s, there was like this whole series of posters that they made. Like there was one of LT with like grenades hanging off his belt, and he had like lasers coming out of his hands. And then there was a Banks one, like he had his arms closed and there was a limo behind him. And then there was I think it was like a poster series of like 3 or 4 different posters. So somehow he like mashed them all together, for you guys to do it. And like I said, it was so cool. And I'm like, I wonder how much free starter gear they got. So I thought, by the way, I mean, you're good to us, but I would never ask you for anything. But I can imagine everyone like, dude, send me some of that starter gear.
Yes. I've gotten too many requests.
Yeah, I can imagine, man.
Yeah.
Good times. I got to tell you, a lot of perks being a pro football player, but like when you're in New York, it's just different. It's just different, man. I mean, like, I don't know if a lot of people get it. It's just different.
No, yeah, for sure. The access and, especially it's one thing for a guy like me, but for somebody like Dexter Lawrence or Bobby or, just one of the top guys. I mean, you have access. Yeah. You have access to the whole city and people are dying to have you at whatever event or dinner or show. And I mean, the type of people that you're going to run into playing for the New York Giants it's pretty amazing. So it's a true blessing to be playing there.
Dude, you do another 100 tackles this year. You're on your way, dude. You just keep working, dude.
Slowly but surely. Yeah.
Giants and Giants fans love their linebackers. That's what we're all about. It's all about linebackers.
I've been doing this podcast and the whole Giants rush thing since 2012 after they won the Super Bowl. I was working for Bleacher Report and I was doing stuff for the USA Today and it all went away. I created my own stuff. The website and the podcast is called Giants Rush because it's named after the Giants rush, like the pass rush. I mean, that's where the name comes from, dude. Like there's 4 Super Bowls in that trophy case in your quote unquote, your office because every team won with a pass rush.
Mm-hmm. Like,
don't get me wrong. There's some great offensive players that have played for the Giants, but New York Giants is built on defense.
Yeah.
There's a long list of guys, including the guy's record that you just tied, Antonio Pierce. Go ahead, Sean. If you got one, jump in.
Yeah, well, I want to kind of turn to we kind of touched upon some of the new guys with there. So I'm going to go to the other side of the ball for you, Micah, because I'm curious of what defensive guys think of this. So you guys brought in 2 new quarterbacks now with Winston and Russ. So, what are your thoughts as a defensive guy seeing these guys come in? Kind of give me your thoughts on, did you pay attention and what's your thoughts on having both these guys now in the quarterback room?
Yeah, no, I'm really excited. Two great players, and obviously Russell, with his track record and where he's been, and Super Bowl champion, but just the type of consistency he's put up, and obviously, we played him last year, and but he can rip the ball, and even at his age now, he's still playing at a really high level. So excited to see him in the building and the leadership that he brings. And actually, I was playing in a golf tournament, the nflpa Classic, down in Mexico a couple weeks ago, and Jameis Winston was down there. He was down there like just doing media stuff, kind of gaining attention for it. But me and Dane were down there and we ran into him. He's like, man, I can't wait to, be up there with my new teammates. Like, great meeting y'all. But just his energy, and I'm sure, we've all seen the clips of him and just pregame speeches but that type of energy, in the locker room, it's going to be great for us. And really excited to, get to know those guys better and compete against them and win some games this year with them.
Yeah. Well, let me ask this too, because what you mentioned, kind of the aspect of Winston and Russell, what they did. So now on the defensive side, you guys had Debo and Holland and Colston coming from the Cowboys as well. So I kind of have two questions for you here, Micah. First thing, what's your thoughts on Colston coming over? Because he seems like he's a young kind of rising star who can really add to that defensive front. And then what do you guys feel about like adding the vets? Do you feel like there was a vet leadership that was kind of, and again, not trying to get you in trouble, put you on the spot, but I'm curious that you're a younger player. Like, do you feel like these guys coming in with this experience that Debo and Holland have, and also playing with, Bobby and playing with Tibbs in college, like how much do you think that adds to the defense, just having that vet presence there too?
Yeah, no, it's great. The more depth we can have up front and take the pressure off of Dex and whoever else we got up there. I mean, I know it's a long list of guys who are going to be up there and rotating in, but excited. I mean, playing against Golston for the past 3 years, I've got to watch him a little bit and just see him while we're not on the field. Great young player. Excited to be playing behind him and get to work with him. But yeah, to your point about the guys on the back end and the veteran leadership, I think I don't quote me on this, but I know we had one of the youngest, if not the youngest, defenses, the past few years.
Yep.
And having some guys back there that have that veteran leadership, that experience, bring that into our room and getting to hear them talk and just talking the game with them and watching film like I was talking about earlier, breaking down how they see it. And I'm really excited to get to know those guys and get to play with them. I think it's really important. I think you got to have a good mix of young guys who are competing and finding their spot in the league, but some guys who have been doing it for a while. Like I remember having Bobby come in my second year and just hearing him talk and the way he plays and the way he thinks about the game. It changed a lot for me, getting to watch somebody like that and the way they work. And so I think it's really important. I'm excited to meet those guys and see how they see the game.
Okay. And then just real quick too. So Tibbs obviously has Holland coming over, his teammate Debo with Bobby O. Are you politicking to get any of your former teammates over the Giants now, or
I might have to. I might. There's only a few of us. I don't even want to say a handful, but there's only a few of us here in the league.
Okay.
It's a few of us Hoosiers. So I might need to throw in a word there now that I'm going into year 4. Just see if we can't get one of my guys over here.
There you
Got to
go.
represent, dude. You got to represent.
No doubt. No doubt.
All right, so I was asked this by one of the followers. So, and it's a cool question, and I don't really know how far you guys pay attention to this stuff because there's a lot going on in the off season, right? So, it's about prep. It's about preparation, prior to a game, because potentially the Giants have an opportunity to draft a player like Hunter. And when you think about Travis Hunter playing both sides of the ball, the question is basically, how does a guy even prepare for a game, if he's playing both sides of the ball? I mean, you guys have meetings and film and walkthroughs, and then you're back in the classroom. And again, I don't know if you've ever experienced it, but maybe in college, but how does a guy come in and prepare for you're playing the Eagles, and this guy has to do double meetings for everything. How does a guy pull that off? And again, I have no idea. You have no idea. But if Travis Hunter becomes a Giant and he's going to play potentially two sides of the ball, how does a guy even prepare for that?
Yeah. No, it's interesting you asked that question. I was earlier this offseason, I was talking, with a former NFL player about this situation exactly, actually. And it'd be very interesting to see how an NFL team will utilize him and his skill set. Obviously he's a generational talent, and really excited to see what he does. I think there would have to be some type of limit on one side of the ball. Playing both sides of the ball the entire game in the NFL, I mean, if he could do it, it'd be very impressive. I think there has to be a limit on one side of the ball. So if you're gonna play all of defense and you play 25% of the snaps on offense, I think they'll throw, okay, these are the 10 plays we're going to have for you in the game. And this is what you're going to line up at this spot. This is the only spot you're going to line up at in this, in this play. And you just got, they have him memorize that, or he does a couple extra meetings with the offense or whatnot. I think that would be more realistic, just because defensively, anything can get called at any moment. Now, I would say defense and coverage, a lot of it's pretty fluid. Once you kind of understand the defense, it's not too hard to get into the hang of it. But defense, you definitely need to know holistically in order to be playing a significant amount of snaps. So
At a high level, by the way.
100%, yeah. So I'd be very interested to see how teams want to use him, and how much. I know he's been saying that he wants to play, both sides of the ball, and do that. And but I am very interested to see how teams monitor that, and how they go about their business, handling a player of that caliber, and how much they're going to use him. So it'll be interesting to see for sure.
I mean, just in general, like, all the guys that we've talked to, that you got walkthroughs, and then you're in the classroom, then you're outside on the turf again, and then you're back in the classroom, then you're back outside. I remember Strahan, used to say how he loved the game and he hated practice, and he, or in camp and stuff, because he hated the ping ponging of inside, outside, inside, outside, inside, outside, like back and forth would just wear you down, grinds on you. And I'm thinking, I'm like, here's a young cat comes in the league, like, how do you even have that many meetings? So to your point is, hey, here's 10 plays. This is what you're going to memorize. There's no way you can learn a whole offense and a whole defense and be efficient at both.
No, 100%. Yeah. I mean, there's guys in the NFL who need extra meetings just on their specific side of the ball, because there's that much that goes on to it, on into a game plan and what the coaches want to do. It's especially on the offensive side of the ball, it is a long learning process of getting the entire playbook down. So, yeah, I mean, like we said, it'll be pretty interesting to see how whatever team he ends up on handles that situation.
So what's the engagement like? Like, do you guys, I mean, look, I know you guys got a ton of stuff like that you guys are interested. Like, you guys got golf, some guys are scuba diving, some guys are just working out. You guys are all over the map. By the way, for what you guys go through on a yearly basis, it's well deserved. The question though is, are you paying attention to the draft? Like, is it something that you guys just like, hey, whatever happens, or are you guys like actively engaged? Like, who's going to go where? Is there a shot that this is going to happen? Or do you guys are like, I'm not even worrying about it because I can't control it?
Yeah, I'm definitely one of the players who, like, when I'm in off-season mode, I'm in off-season mode. I try not to think about ball too much. I usually know who we picked up in free agency, and I keep an eye on that stuff, but I don't, I'm not too involved on Twitter. I honestly don't really go on Twitter that much, just because.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. But I think so. How it's been the last 3 years, and I think it'll be this, the same way this year. We're usually up, in OTAs during, the week before the draft, and then, during the draft as well. So, there's kind of usually conversation in the building, like, oh, who do you think is going to go where, and whatnot. And so we, obviously it's on our mind just because we're in the building, that, that there's a talk of it, that everybody's kind of anticipating that. But personally, I keep an eye on it. I don't watch the draft throughout the whole thing. I know there's people who are like diehard and watch every pick in the entire draft. I'm not that person, but
are there guys on your team? Like, I know for a fact that guys will root for guys from their alma mater. Like,
yes,
there's a Penn State guy rooting for a Penn State guy. There's a Georgia guy rooting for a Georgia guy. Like, so like, I'm sure there's a couple dudes in the locker room that are just pining away for the Giants to draft one of their boys, right?
Yeah, I'm sure there's some whispering in some ears throughout the building going on, and just throwing a name here or there while you're passing by coach in the hallway or something. But usually I don't have to petition until day 3 for guys coming out of my school, but no, I'm
That's
just
not
kidding. Hey,
right, man.
we're
That's not
few, but
right.
we're proud. We're like the Marines over there for the Hoosiers. Few but proud, man.
It's all good, dude. I was just always curious, if guys are like, "Oh, my guy's gonna go," no, mine's gonna go. I
Yeah.
like we do all week long. We just look, man. We're waiting for this team to pop. We know that you guys have slowly building this thing, and the fans are just like rabid dogs. They're waiting for this team to pop. I
Mhm.
can imagine some of the guys on the team were like, "Man, if you just draft this guy, we're gonna be better." Like I can see like, a lot of that conversation.
Yeah.
Like for example, the elephant in the room is Abdul Carter. The guy can freaking ball, right?
Mhm.
Playing in, and I say all the time, I'm like, look, this guy goes to Penn State, plays in the cold, is an East Coast guy. He grinds, he's got that dog in him. Like you bring him to the Giants, like he fits in right away. And all of a sudden that defense is like going. It's another,
Mhm.
with everything they did in the offseason. So I'm like, I just wonder, like, I don't know. Do you have any Penn State guys on that defense right now? I don't think so.
No.
Um,
That guy can
Not
think
that
of.
I could know.
yeah, I don't think so.
so.
I'm just wondering if anybody's like, man, we need it. We need to tell coach we need to get Carter. Like, I'm always curious if like that's something that happens or players are like, I don't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, if it does, it's not me. I'll tell you that much because I stay out of it. I know it's such a stressful time for those guys upstairs and the evaluation process. Obviously, it's a culmination. It's kind of the final point of all the work that they've put in over the offseason, but I'm sure there's a few guys with some pull who are up there, just throwing shots around, just seeing who's going to take the bait a little bit, where they can get a combo in about it.
What was it like for you? Like, did the Giants come down and hang out with you?
You mean while I was
When you were,
coming out?
yeah, when you were in school, like were the Giants come down to watch you play? Were they calling you? Were there talks? Were they taking you to dinner? What was that like?
It was interesting. I remember somebody telling me during the process, he's like, look, man, sometimes it's the person who's calling you every day that drafts you. Sometimes they're just trying to feel out the type of person you are. Sometimes, but he's like, but often the team that contacts you the most actually has a lot of interest in you. They just need one time to make sure you're the guy that they want, and then they're good, and they put you on their board. And if you're there when they want you, they're going to take you. And I think I had one Zoom call. I'm sure I met with them at the combine at one point or talked with somebody, but it wasn't an official visit or what do they call it? I mean, it's something like an official meeting or something up in the one of the boxes up at the combine. I didn't do any of that with the Giants. I think I had one Zoom call. It was with my current coach, with Coach Eggs, and he ran me through the scheme at the time, and gave me a little quiz about it. It was probably a 25-minute Zoom call, and then that was about it. I don't really think there was too much communication um, between me and the Giants during that process. It's very interesting. It's a really strange process before the draft, and you want to think you have an idea of where you might go, and obviously your agent's always throwing out teams that have some interest, but it's really unclear all the way up until you get that call.
Were you surprised it was the Giants?
A little bit. I think my agent. It was one of the teams my agents might have mentioned out of like 7 or 8 teams, but I I was a little bit surprised, but honestly, I was just relieved. I was relieved that the phone rang when it did, and that I got drafted, and it made it a pretty special day with my family for sure.
Nice.
Living the dream, dude. Living the dream.
No
It's
doubt,
awesome.
no doubt.
Go ahead, Sean. You can jump in. I know you got some.
Yeah, well, just kind of as we were kind of talking about the new guys and kind of going in and next year. So kind of what are your goals for 2025 and kind of what are
Yo,
any
you know what his goals are? Did
What's
you
that?
see the dude's squatting like 400 something pounds with bands on the damn weight? Like I saw it. I didn't even believe it. I screen recorded it because my man doesn't pay attention to Twitter, so I can never get him there. But he's really good with me on Instagram. So I saw it on Twitter. I screen recorded it. I dropped it into a folder and I sent it to him. I was like, dude, what is up with the bands? Like like evidently one of the goals is to get stronger because the dude's like squatting 4 and change, at least 4 and change. And he's got, I mean, I don't know if you saw it. I think I sent it to you. He's got bands hooked up. Like, dude, is that your contraption or is that something you learned along the way? Because I ain't never seen anybody do that thing.
No, that's my trainer. He's I found my guy during COVID actually, when every gym was shut down, he was the one guy keeping it low key but staying open. It's a little hike for me. He's over in Clearwater. I'll give him a shout out. It's Bulletproof Athletics over there in Clearwater. He's but I've been, after COVID, that was college. I didn't really get to see him again in college because you're up at school the whole year round. So after my rookie year, I was like, I want to go back and train with him again. So after year one, I started getting my off seasons in with him, and he's a great dude. He's really knowledgeable about anatomy and how the body works, but especially about getting you strong and in shape and ready to. The idea of it is that you bulletproof your body and strengthen all the joints, all the muscles, but at the end of the day, I feel the best after I train with him. So, shout out to Adon. That's his name, Adon. So it's been good.
I blew up your question there. So what's the goals for 25 for you?
Yeah. He jumped right in. He's like, yeah.
Right, I'm just saying.
He's like, forget your question, man. I'm just gonna talk about this. Like,
I know that was bad.
What he asked.
That was bad. But I'm coming back to it because it was a good question. But like.
He's the king. He gets to get away with it.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I can get away with that shit. But I was just like, dude squatting with bands. It's hard enough to be squatting. Why are there bands on there? Anyway, go ahead, man. Give it to us. What's a goal for 25?
It's to your point about working out. It's always getting explosive and getting faster, on the field and in the weight room. But I usually write down real specific goals as it gets closer to the year, and usually that's sometime during OTAs or the weeks leading up to training camp. But honestly and ultimately, I want us to get to the playoffs, and I want us to show that we're that team. There's a lot of guys really deserving of winning a lot of football games in our locker room, and I want this team to have the success that the guys deserve, and the people who work so hard every day to make this thing go. And put all their work in the off season as well, just like I do. There's a lot of people who, have grinded for a long time and just like the fans want to see this thing move and this thing go. So the biggest thing is win a bunch of games with this team and get to that playoff where anything can happen.
Last year, this time, you told me about pass coverage. You were working on your pass coverage, your drops, your reads, anything specific that like, hey, in 25, this is whatever it is, my keys, whatever it is. Like, is there one specific thing that you're like, this gets me from 100 tackles to 125. This gets me from 3 sacks to 7 sacks. Like, is there anything specific that you're working on like every day?
Yeah. It won't really come into play until I'm in the building and studying and whatnot. But I've taken some notes down just from guys in the past who have, watched film and former players and whatnot. And, I want to have a more detailed routine of doing that and, breaking down an opponent and I've always watched film all the way since college, but I want to have a more detailed routine of that and just make sure I'm locked in throughout the week and have a plan of attack for the opponent. But I think pass coverage for me will always be an emphasis, and I've done a lot more this offseason as far as movement and
damn. Is it like I said, you got either a storm going on, got some power issues, my man. I'm sure he'll pop back on here in a second. What do you call it? I saw this thing, Sean, about Luke Kuechly.
Yeah.
And Kuechly was saying how like he just watched all this film for every single team on how they could potentially block them And the more he spent watching film, that when the game came on, when it came time for to play the game, up there, dude, you're
He's
back.
back.
I don't know what's going on. It's whatever virus just got transferred over my phone right there. I don't know what happened.
I know, man. I'll be sending you a new laptop. It's all probably on me, right? I was saying when you popped off for a second to Sean that like there's this Instagram reel going around about Luke Kuechly, and just you were talking about film. And he was just saying that he had spent so much time on film, and he would come up to like, you know what, they can only block me 5 ways, right? Like five basic ways. And he would just learn those 5 basic ways to the point where like on the field and the game got slow, he had 5 to choose from. They're either going to hear this, that, they're going to trap, they're going to double down. Like he had it all. And then as he started diagnosing what, those 5 opportunities that the offense had, he was beating them to the ball, right? Yeah. Because he already knew. Maybe 50% of it was guessing, maybe 50% of it was anticipation or being knowledgeable. But I feel you, man. Like the guy that I compared you to from 2006, Antonio Pierce, was a film junkie. And it does make a difference. Not that I know crap about being an NFL linebacker. Lost him again.
You gotta talk like quicker so he gets it in before he cuts out again.
Yeah, seriously. What's your thoughts? A lot of film helps, man.
Yeah, I agree. The more you can watch, I like what he said, because we've said it a few times, and it's not like anything negative. He says that pass coverage is always this thing to be working on. So there, he's back. All right. Talk, Micah. Say what you want to say before you get cut out again.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what's going on over here, guys. I apologize, but
good.
It's all right, dude.
Yeah, no. I think where I was cut off at is that yeah, I think pass coverage and that aspect of the game will always be something I need to work on, just because it's that type of league, and teams want to throw the ball, they want to move it down the field. And as a linebacker, whenever you can be in those windows and understand what they're trying to do and the different ways they're trying to attack you, that's when you can make plays on the back end and get your hand on the ball and make those game changing plays. So I think I was saying, this offseason I've it's probably been the most I've been running, but also just moving and focusing on change of direction and getting out of breaks and doing all that stuff. So but yeah, it'll definitely be something I continue to focus on and work on.
Yeah.
Do you like, I don't know, maybe it might be an in the building thing or a home thing, but like, what about like plyometrics and yoga and that kind of stuff? Does that come into play? Like are guys, I know stretching is important, but like, I'm just thinking out loud. You're talking about running, you're talking about working out with that cat in Clearwater. Does that come into play? Like all like alternative type of workouts? Yeah,
no, 100%. I do yoga usually once or twice a week. Down here, I stay in a townhouse, and literally behind the townhouse is this yoga studio that I go to. I usually do hot yoga just because it's a little bit of a workout, but it's also good for the point you were making about flexibility and getting a stretch in while you do it. So, but yeah, I know a bunch of guys like Pilates, all those type of workouts, those alternative workouts that help move the body and just switching the flow up a little bit. It's all good. For us, just functional movements in that way. So,
are you pumped about a Debo and Holland? I mean, you get my man needs a charger.
It's got to be the weather in that townhouse.
Gotta be, dude. It's gotta be.
It's got to be. I think that's what it is. So,
because I know a lot of dudes are like now into like the stretching, the rolling out, the foam roll, the yoga. Like it's like a thing.
Well, you remember back in the day that Herschel Walker and Lynn Swan used to do ballet. Hey, Mike is back.
I just keep telling people that you have like thunderstorms there. Just roll with that.
Yeah, we'll go with that. I think people are trying to give me a call, and it's every time they call, it's like accessing the microphone or something, and then
it's what happens when you're famous, dude.
I was saying he went with the popular route. I'm popular, so this is
yeah.
I like it. Good move.
Which, by the way,
it's probably a thunderstorm though. I'm sure it's a thunderstorm.
That's a veteran move right there, Mike. I'm popular.
Exactly.
Everybody's calling me.
exactly. That's a veteran move right now.
I'm learning.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like,
I'm learning.
all these people are calling me. So you gotta listen, and I'm sure there's some guys in the locker room that'll help you. You need a bat phone for that. You gotta have
That's
the second phone for that.
Yes.
This line is for morons like me when you talk to me.
That's right. Well, I just recently got off my dad's phone bill, so the second phone's coming soon. I'm taking baby steps over here.
How do I got this is a totally side question because I've got this too, and you actually were kind enough to answer me. Like, we have fans, followers, whatever. You have a lot more fans, of course, than I do. But how the heck do I get your damn jersey, dude? Like it's not an easy thing to do. Like, I can get them custom made, but is your dad hooked up? Because if your dad's hooked up with him, I send the man money. I need McFadden jerseys.
I really don't know. I gotta figure it out too, because I thought I want to say he just ordered it off nflshop.com, but he might have some connect over there in China.
Yeah, but the Giants probably hook him up. No, dude, you better talk to your people.
I'll figure it out. I don't know. My dad, he does have his ways. He might have a sneaky route he's going through. He might get him direct from China.
All right,
but we'll
do me a
figure it
favor.
out.
I want to give some away. If I see you in camp this year, maybe you could sign some. I just want to give them away, right?
Yeah.
I have people they're like, I can't find them, and I'm like, did you check NFL.com to check this? And I'm like, oh, I can't find them. I'm like, well, my man's needs his own NIL deal here, and for pro football, because I'm like, we gotta get your jersey out there, dude.
Under the radar linebacker. It's just that.
Yeah.
Good, dude. Talk as you would say. Talk to your pop. I would call him your dad. You said your pop. Ask him if he's got a connection. I will literally Venmo him money because I would like to buy some of your jerseys.
I'll figure it out. I got you. We'll figure this out.
All right. I'm not gonna take up too much more time because I've got speed round, which is always super fun. Sean, you got one more you want to go with?
Let me see. So yeah, all right. You kind of touched on this before a little bit, but can you go a little more how big of an influence was Bobby O for you in improving your game and just kind of mentoring you to get you where you need to be?
Yeah, Bobby was great. I think for him, obviously he had just gotten his deal, coming into a new city, but he was intentional about everything he did, from the moment he signed. I remember, he started a group message with all the linebackers that were on the team at the time and reached out to all of us and was just like, look, guys, if you guys ever need anything from me or just want to, talk ball before we get this thing started, just let me know. He's just a great dude, first and foremost, from the moment he was a part of the organization. And then, in the building and on the field, he's seen a lot of ball. Going into year two, it feels also new and coming off a rookie year where, I had my hills and I had my valleys for sure. And, he was just so encouraging in that moment and taught me a lot about how he sees the game and the things that I could pull into my wheelhouse and I could use. It was so influential for me and important just to learn from somebody like that who's seen so much ball and has a mind for the game. Yeah, Bobby's been great. He's a great dude to play next to. He's a true leader. He's relentless, and I know he got hurt this year. He had a bad injury, that put him out for the year. But the guy he's one tough SOB. He's played. Yeah. I've seen him play through cracked ribs and broken bones and stuff like that all the time, like it's nothing. Yeah, he's a true competitor and somebody I'm really proud and honored to play next to.
How's his health coming? He's healing up good? Because I know we had that disc issue, and that's not an easy thing to get through. So how's he feeling?
No, for sure. I've been keeping in touch with him. I think he's doing a lot better. He's been all over the place as far as healing and the different doctors he's been seeing and different opinions. But if there's one person who's going to be determined to get back to 100%, it's Bobby. I know he's been training hard too, running and Getting his body back underneath him. But I think he's kind of in the same philosophy too, as far as the training stuff and the things that I do. So, specifically in the weight room. So I've seen the stuff that he's been working on, and it looks like he's gotten that strength back, and especially in the lower body, like you were talking about. So I'm excited to see where he's at.
Yeah, man.
Let me ask one other
stuff.
thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just one other thing with that. So I kind of touched upon it earlier, but and if you don't want to share, that's fine. But like, how excited is he to have his former college teammate there on the Giants, playing with him? Has he kind of said? And if you can't say, that's okay, I understand. But I wanted to ask because I'm curious.
Yeah, no, I think he's really excited. I haven't spoken, specifically about that with him yet, but I know, I've seen all the posts that he's been making, and I'm sure just having somebody, that you played college with, and now has signed a big deal with the team that you signed with. It's pretty exciting, and like we were talking about earlier, just that communication point, that comfortability with somebody on the field that you've played with in years past, and just bringing that energy, that common energy that you guys have played with each other for a while. So it's exciting, I'm sure, for him.
Okay.
Love it, man. All right.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm going to give you the speed round. This is all right. Real easy questions. At least I think they're easy anyway. Beach vacation or golf vacation?
I would usually pair those, but I'm gonna go golf vacation.
All right.
Yeah,
All right,
good
because I
pairing.
see because I'm always checking in to see what you're up to, and I see a lot of golf taking place. So that makes sense.
Yes, lots.
All right. So you've been here now 3 years. You probably got a good lay of the Jersey, New York landscape. Favorite New York restaurant or maybe pizza joint?
Pizza joint. I've only had one, and I believe it's Joe's. Well, not one pizza. That'd be criminal to be there for 3 years and only have one pizza.
It
But
would.
I'm like, wait, you went 3 years?
Yeah,
with
you were
one
about to get
pizza?
judged there. Real
Yeah,
I think
I was like, what happened there?
I could have worded that better. I had one slice from this place, Joe's Pizza, down in I think it was in like Financial District or something like that. But it was, I mean, you have to wait a minute to get one of these pieces of pizza, but it was definitely worth it. It's a good spot down there.
Favorite restaurant? Got one? I mean, you guys probably go out as a team all the time.
We do. I haven't been to, all the best ones,
spots
but
yet?
yeah, but I did go. I have been to Carbone once, so I guess I'll throw that one out there. It's a pretty good, really good Italian restaurant, but I'm willing if people want to send me some of the more low
suggestions?
some suggestions, some low key spots, some stuff that might not, be
All right.
known as well.
All right, you haven't been to Carmine's yet. All right, we'll have to take care of that.
I think I've heard of that one, but I haven't been there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been to Little Italy yet? Have you gone down there?
I've been down there, but I don't think I ate. I think I just kind of went through. That's
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, it's another quick place to find some good food.
Yeah.
How about cold tub or sauna?
I like the sauna. I like a good sweat. Cold tub's good though. I do get in the cold tub every morning. Just wake me up. Wake me up. Like first thing I do in the building. But
How many minutes?
See, I'm a contraster. I can't just sit in the cold tub and then get out and just go about my day. I got to get in that hot tub after I do it too. So I usually get in there for about, I'll probably do like 2 minutes each, flip flop for about 4 or 5 rounds, and then I'm out of there.
Cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot.
Usually, yeah.
Damn. See, that's why I got a cold tub here, man. I do not like it. I do not like it.
It's tough. You got to get your mind right. I usually play a little music in there for sure.
The first 30 seconds, it's just not good.
It's brutal.
All right. So let's just say, and I've asked you this before a couple years ago when we first met. You get cast in a superhero movie. Are you Batman or are you Captain America? Because do you know the difference? One's the pissed off vigilante, and one of them's the I always do the right thing cat.
That's right. Bobby O has joked around and called me Captain America at points, just randomly. It's not a consistent nickname. He'll just say it randomly at different points throughout the year. So I'll go Captain America. I think
mean, you're an all-American kid. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
yeah. I like that guy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
Chris
good.
Evans. Right?
Yeah.
All right. How about game day? What's your favorite uniform? You got a bunch of them, including those ugly 100-year throwback thingers. Like,
Yeah.
What's the favorite? You got a favorite, like on like the one that looks the cleanest, or the one that you're just whew.
Yeah. I like the throwback away jerseys. I think there are Color Rush actually.
Yes.
The all
white.
whites.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah,
Those ones are sick. Those are my favorite. I think everybody likes the white socks, especially with the like just wearing white socks. I don't know. There's something about it.
Okay,
good
here's
energy.
you know what? It's a sidebar. You guys don't get choices in the matter, right? Like
No.
they already choose it out. Like it's on a
Yes.
schedule on what you're gonna wear because they send it to the fans. Like they give us like the dates what you're wearing, which I
Yeah.
find always super bizarre. But like, so you guys basically they put it in your locker and you put it on.
Right. No, exactly. Yeah. And some guys choose to not wear certain things, and they make sure they make sure that you messed up with a nice letter.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yep. Nice little fine.
Yes.
All right. Do you have any game day superstitions or traditions? And if so, give us one.
I do have like weird little things that I usually want to wear like I'm not it messes me up if I don't have like the same knee pads that I have like throughout the year, like certain things
Knee
like
pads?
that. Yeah, like I don't know, I just want to wear the same pads in my pants for some reason. I might
Okay.
listen to I always stick to like the same few playlists. I can't pick a song, like a specific song that I might listen to, but I always kind of start the day pretty chill. Like, I'm not listening to rap or rock to start the morning. It's a slow build up in my music phase for sure. And it's usually pretty consistent with that. I'm trying to think if there's anything real obvious. No, I usually, one thing it's pretty consistent. It's strange. If it's like a 1 p.m. game, I don't eat too much before the game. If I eat a lot, I'll probably end up throwing it up before a game. And that's not like I know like Josh Allen says he throws up before every game. Like I'm not that type of dude, but if I can't eat too much before a game.
Yeah.
All right. No, that's more like survival than anything.
Right.
You
Right.
know?
That's just like being smart for me. Like I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to feel light.
Yeah, I gotta I gotta have as much weight off of me as possible. I'm barely fast enough as it is. So
Fair enough. Anybody in that locker room like superstitious, like over the top, where like certain shoelaces, cleats, they gotta sit on the stool a certain way. There's got to be one dude like that.
I think people are like they don't want to like admit certain stuff, but I'm sure everybody in that locker room, I'm sure has like one thing, like whether it's a chain they gotta wear or something they gotta have within the uniform or something they do. Everybody's got their little tick that they do, but they won't admit it. Nobody wants to say it.
Mhm.
All right, I love it, man. That's great stuff. Because I always hear about like, oh yeah, like this dude. Like I remember like Jesse Armstead used to wear one red cleat, one blue cleat. You know what I mean? Same brand, same model, but just
Yeah.
one red, one blue. Like or
Yeah.
how some guys with the like you said, like they only eat chicken, and rice the night
Right.
before. Certain guys sleep on one side of the bed, like
I'd say that's a bigger thing. Like preparation before a game. Like I know I have to have like a certain number. Like I have to drink a pickle juice and I have to have a beet juice. It's something like they're
Wait,
just
at the same
they're-
time.
And you don't throw those
I-
up?
I usually drink them at the same time about 5 minutes before we warm up.
Wait,
Go
wait,
out
wait,
to
wait.
warm
All right,
up.
we're
The
breaking
fact that you
news
can
here.
keep-
We're breaking news. Wait,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
telling me right before you go out to warm up, you slam a pickle juice and a beet juice?
Yes, there's little
the
shots
same
of them
time.
like in the building. Like I mean, I couldn't even count the number of guys who probably drink one or the other of them.
You just happen to be
Before a game.
the guy who drinks both.
I just do both. Yeah, I'm I always do the pickle first because you don't want the pickle aftertaste. So I do the. Actually, no.
Wait,
Yeah,
you
I
sure
do the
about that?
pickle first. So that's. I guess that's a little thing too. But
He's like, I don't remember now.
yeah.
Oh,
Little things
Uh,
come up as we talk about it. I don't know. I'm thinking of more, but
oh my
yeah.
god,
yes.
that's a scream, dude.
That's
That is
impressive.
so,
You
Good
can drink
stuff.
pickle and beet juice and
that's
keep
what I'm
those
thinking.
down while
Dude,
playing a game. Like
because
I don't.
5 minutes ago he's like, I don't want to throw up before, and I'm like,
Maybe
I
that's
love
why
it.
I don't eat too much, just because I got to be able to hold those two down during
Love
the
it, dude.
game. That's
I gotta tell you, man, you've always been really good to us, man. You
Yeah,
humor
we
us.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
no
100%,
doubt.
dude. You are
Yeah.
like you're a good dude, man.
No doubt.
Who's the
Appreciate you guys.
locker room joker? Oh, that's a good question. Who's you got somebody that's is there a prankster in the locker room?
I'm trying to think.
I mean, Dexter seems like he's got such a good like he just seems funny, like the
Yeah.
guy, but maybe not.
No, Dexter, like he's not like pranking anybody or like doing. There's not too many of that going on, but I would say Dexter is just naturally funny. You know, he doesn't have to do anything or like say something like out of the world to make people laugh. He's just the big goofy dude that he's gonna point something out or make fun of one of the rookies or something, and it brightens everybody's day for a little bit. So
No, he just seems
um,
too happy. He's happy all the time.
Yeah.
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 Well, when
I
you can
love
do your job that well and it's that easy to, it's hard not to be happy. I'm sure.
There's
Yeah.
nothing better. And actually, that's a good parlay. I got one more speed question before you. Like, how do you get mic'd up, dude? Like, do you have to ask? Dude, put a mic on you, man. Let's go. Let's get you mic'd up for a game. Because Dexter gets
Dude.
mic'd up like every other week.
Yeah, yeah. I think even the games I'm mic'd up, Dexter's probably still mic'd up, and they just use his clips more. But no, it's random. They just come up to you like on a Monday or Tuesday, and they're like, "Hey, are you cool with being mic'd up this game?" And usually every time I'm like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." But I hardly ever see it, or I don't know. Maybe it
Or you're
is
not
out there.
saying anything funny. You're not, or
Yeah,
you're not like, I'm ripping this dude's head off.
yeah. I'm probably just like dead silent. They're like, "We got like maybe two words out of you, but."
You're like, McFadden doesn't say anything all game
Like
long.
literally quiet. He's just laser focused.
Right.
When
Yeah,
Bobby was out, did you wear the dot?
I did. Yeah, yeah. Which was,
How
I
was
mean, it was
how was that?
unfortunate I got hurt when I did because I had like two and a half games where I got to wear the dot. But the dot it gave me a lot of respect for the way Bobby plays the game and how tired you get. First off, when he was down, I was playing third down as well. So you're communicating, you're on the field the entire time, but there's stuff that'll come in from the headset that's not just the play call. And I'm like, Bowen will be like, "Hey, tell this guy to move over a little bit. Tell this guy to watch for this." So you could be yelling the play and then yelling as people are dispersing from the huddle. You're yelling three other things to some guys right before the play as well. And then you're running around, you're trying to make a play and then coming back and doing it all over again. And obviously you got to be loud. There's points throughout the game where either if we're at home and the crowd's up or something, and you got to be loud and demonstrative with what you're doing. So but it was fun, honestly. I really did enjoy wearing the dot just because it's intense, but you're the first person to get the call in, so you're already, the moment the call's in, you're thinking about, okay, this is what we have, this is where I got to set the front,
Yeah.
this is what we're doing on the back end. I got to communicate this if we get this formation. So it's pretty exciting to have that, and to obviously, just be the communicator over there on the defensive side of the ball.
What's the major distinction between the right and the left? I mean, or you and Bobby, like, because you're not 100% equal, right?
No,
From a responsibility standpoint, what's the difference between the two?
it's I know in the media or whatever they might call it right and left. It's more
That's
field
why
and
yeah.
yeah, it's more field and boundary. So
Right.
if you look, I'm usually in the boundary part of the field. So weak back or will backer, I'm usually on
Yep.
the weaker side of the formation. The major difference I would say is that at will you can get put in space a little bit more. You can you might be on coverage a little bit more. But that's why on third down they usually bring in that dime, that safety position, because usually that will be matched up on a tight end or something
Face.
Right, exactly. So, and then the mics to the field. So he's going to be, if it's 3-by-1, he's usually out on 3 or whatnot. But it's really not too different. It's within the scheme. It's not a crazy amount of distinction between the two positions.
But when he went out, you moved over,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Because and just saying from a fan point of view, like we all have said the same thing. Like we love Bobby, we think you guys play together really well, but like you did a masterful job of sliding into that spot. Before you got hurt, you had 2 really good weeks before you got hurt in that spot. So it's noticeable that you're putting in the work. So
I appreciate it. Yeah, and I give a lot of credit to our coach too. Just he cross trains us. Everybody in the room could play both positions just because of the way he teaches and the way the room is. You never know where you could end up, and just the situation. And if somebody goes down, everybody kind of needs to know both. So it's kind of just built in that we all have a good understanding. Usually, I mean, I will say you know your position really well. You know the other one, well.
Yeah.
But if you know you're about to play that position, you're going to know it. But yeah, we study both positions as we get ready for the week.
All right, last one for me is now you've got 3 seasons under your belt. Who's the hardest back to tackle?
Hardest back to tackle.
Maybe it's a guy that makes you miss. Maybe it's a guy who just whacked you in the hole. Got to be a guy.
Yeah. Well, I would say this year I only played him once, but it was my former teammate over there with the Eagles. He's an all-around back. We all knew it when he was on our team, but his shiftiness combined with his explosiveness, and then just, I mean,
the offensive line is great.
Yes, and the O line he was playing behind, it's hard to get a hand on him, and if you do get a hand on him, he's probably running through it. You got to get a shoulder pad on him, and 2 or 3 guys around him to bring that guy down. He can make anybody miss in space. I will say I'm just proud of him in the year he put together, but he's been that dude for a while, so I'm excited to get everything he deserved.
Yeah, man. Listen, most rational people get it. Most rational people get that it's a business. We get the reason the Eagles are where they are because of those offense and defense alignment, right? You win building those trenches. So makes a lot of sense, man. It does.
Yeah.
But that's cool. Barkley's the hardest guy to tackle. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Like I know you don't want to hang out with me all night. Sean, you got anything left? Because I'm gonna let him go because he's probably got a tea time in the morning.
No, I mean you don't want to follow anything up after the 2-minute drill, the lightning round, because that no.
Especially now, I'm gonna start stacking my fridge with pickle juice and beet juice.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got the secret sauce now. I gave it to you, man.
My goodness, I know.
It's not gonna help. It's not gonna make me run a 4.5 or have 7% body fat and weigh 240. So
you don't know. You won't know unless you try it, though. You just won't know.
I'm broken, dude. I mean, like
we're old, man.
Division 3 football broke everything.
Right,
in me,
we're old, broken down former ex-football players.
Yeah, dude. Like, I wasn't blessed with your size and strength, man. I mean, I got 6 concussions, separated shoulders, broken ribs. My hands are all busted up. He was a running back. All right, so I was so he's one of the prima donnas. All right, so
gotcha.
Listen, I played safety too. I was like, I did a little bit of both back in the day. Played a little bit of both. I did both in college. I was safety my first year, and then I went over the running back, wide receiver.
That's impressive. I've been a linebacker since I think I was like 6 years old. Was never a dual position guy.
You played running back. We talked about it.
We did, yeah. I had a fullback stint and a running back stint in my younger years.
Yeah,
but
I can see that as a fullback for sure.
No, I took way more pleasure crashing into dudes.
Yes.
I mean, strong safety is like a linebacker. You have a linebacker.
I
strong safety. I was the strong safety or back.
The size of him.
Way back, it was called the monster back.
Yeah.
It doesn't take too early. You either like hitting or you like making people try and hit you and miss. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, see, I was the running back that had the defensive mindset. I was dishing out punishment to the defensive guys. Like,
Right.
I didn't run around people. Well,
Yeah.
unless I needed to. But if I had a chance to
Yeah.
hit them and run them over and stiff
Yeah.
arm them, absolutely.
I'm going to
absolutely.
throw this up here before I let you go. Are you an analytics guy? Like Brad wants to know if you're big into the analytics.
Not huge, no. I mean, you mean like statistic of play calling and stuff like that, or like?
I'm assuming he means
He
like
means like
you're taking the time to look at the analytics behind it, like this percentage of this guy does this guy percentage. Like, do you get involved with that kind of stuff, or is it just
a little bit? It's more time and place, like situation within the game. But I would say I'm somewhat involved, and it's more just because the coaches kind of keep me updated about what to expect.
Well, dude, I'll look out for you at camp this year. I'll come down and see you.
Good
Try to
deal.
hook up with you. Tell your pops I want to buy some jerseys, man, because I get people
will.
asking me all the time. Again, you have no idea how much I appreciate you always hanging out with us, dude. And by the way, I will hit you up because I found a vendor that sells Micah McFadden posters, and I bought some.
I'm gonna need to see those.
Yeah,
I'm gonna need to see
because
those.
you should be getting paid for that, by the way.
Yeah. And by the way, I may have to come over your way if you got a good hole in the wall spot, because I heard you mention that earlier. That's kind of my thing too. So if you know a good one, then I might have to come over and have I don't know if you
pickle
drink
juice
beer or
and a
not.
beet
Yeah,
juice?
pickle juice and a beet
Yeah.
juice.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well,
Yeah,
look,
for sure.
good luck the rest of the off season. I don't know when we'll hook up again, but we always do. So I appreciate it. But 100%, if I don't see you during camp, if you're signing autographs, if you're hanging out, I'll try to track you down.
I appreciate you guys having me on. Always a pleasure.
No, man. Oh, and by the way, if you get a chance, DM me your Tampa address so I can send you out that stuff.
Will do. I'll be back up there. So if you want to send it to the one up there, if it's easier.
Oh, all right. Either way, just if you hit me up wherever you want it to send it, I'll send it wherever you're at.
Good deal. Appreciate
All
both
right,
y'all.
man. I said always a pleasure, dude. Keep grinding, man. We're rooting for you.
See y'all soon.
All right, man. Later, Micah.
Let's go. Come on. Micah McFadden. Let's go.